We have a 5-step framework for creating a business strategy. Today, we'll cover your interest, customer interest, the problem, and then how to create a valuable offer, so the solution, and then also your goals. So notice how I didn't mention we need to have 20 3D printers to start a business. I didn't say you need to know how to use complex design softwares. We just need to be clear on our very specific approach and focus our energy there. So let's go through these areas. First, your interest. I get asked a lot, what should I sell? I believe you should always have a specific skill set or knowledge. For instance, you might be a biology teacher that picks up 3D printing. This means that you have a specific knowledge in this field. You understand, say, what your students need and in what they're learning biology. You understand their pain points and their problems. So this sets you up perfectly to positively impact them with your products. Next, I want to talk about the customer. So who are we actually selling to? You need to understand this person extremely well, in too much detail. How old are they? When do they buy? Where do they buy? What's their emotions and what do they consider when they're buying? So it's possible to sell to all kinds of customers. So for example, you could sell to businesses and provide wholesale or bulk quantities. You could go directly to consumers. You could look at government or educational organizations. And then the platforms that you use to reach these people can be completely different too. So you could sell at events like local markets. You could go online like with a website or marketplaces like Etsy and Facebook. This said, when starting off, you need to focus on just one key customer and one key area. Don't spread yourself too thin by trying too many things. That causes doubt and confusion. Okay, second, the problem. What is the customer's problem? If we understand the customer well enough, we understand their issues. We'll get paid to solve those issues. Let me repeat that. You only get paid to solve customer problems. That's it. So you need to know the customer really well. You shouldn't just start with the product, or there is no direction on what you need to sell. There's no direction on even how you would sell it. Once we understand the problem we are solving, then we can look at creating a valuable offer, aka the solution. This is how we plan to solve that specific customer's problem. Typically, there are many ways to solve a problem, and it's really good because 3D printing is an amazing and really flexible tool. So we can make a lot of different things. So once you know the problem and the customer, think creatively here about the solution. You can solve a customer problem many different ways. So to create a valuable offer, let's use Alex Hormozi's offer formula to gauge perceived value. The formula is that the perceived value equals the dream outcome multiplied by the perceived likelihood to achieve this outcome divided by the time delay and the effort and sacrifice. So what does this all mean? Basically, the dream outcome is where the customer sees themselves after buying and or implementing your product. The perceived likelihood refers to how certain the customer feels they'll reach that outcome once they buy the product or service. The time delay is how long it'll take to reach that. And then of course, the effort and sacrifice is how much time and energy they have to put in it. Basically, the amount of money or time and effort that they'll have to spend to get that dream outcome. Basically, our goal is to maximize value by increasing the dream outcome and perceived likelihood and minimizing time delay and effort and sacrifice. If we do these two things, we increase perceived value. Finally, our goals. We're running a business and we need a compass. This keeps us on track and creates a situation where our business works for us, not the other way around. So having a clear idea with what goals you want to achieve is really motivating. You have to decide what works best for you here. I like to write my goals as hypotheses. That simply means it's a question I want to test. The template for a hypothesis is, if I do X, then Y will happen. I'll measure Z as progress. So let me give you a specific example here. A goal I suggest for you in this course is, if I do all the content, if I do all the homework, I'll develop the key skills and knowledge to develop a 3D printing business. Once you have a goal written as a hypothesis, you can clearly measure the progress that you're making towards it. So for example, your actions towards achieving that goal, and then the results. So basically how close you're getting towards that goal. In this particular case, we could keep a record of actions taken towards the goal. So how many video modules have we watched? Have we done the to-do list and homework items? Then you can measure and track your progress by looking at, for example, the sales. So the number of customers you've acquired, and the amount of dollars that you've earned in revenue and even profit. So just to note, when you write a goal like this, you're basically setting up an experiment. And if you've ever done any experimentation, yes, of course, you might be hoping for a result, but the ultimate goal is to test a theory. Again, if you do X, then Y will happen. So if you don't get the result you wanted, we learn and we adjust, okay? We don't need to beat ourselves up about it. We don't need to be upset about it. We can just create a new theory and try again. So this definitely helps with motivation, but it also helps us in this kind of constant process of learning and refining.